Hello and welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn and this is the February reading for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. This month I will be using the Star Tarot spread in honor of Aquarius season. The card that came out in the position of the present and what is happening right now for you is the Hermit card. Hermit is the representation of Virgo. So some of you might have Virgo in your chart, but this is talking about basically taking the opportunity to really kind of separate yourself from the crowd, to really focus on questions that you might be asking yourself, doing a little bit of soul searching, and really trying to navigate into your inner self. I feel like you're hitting the space where you're really asking yourself some life-altering questions about where does it you want to go, how it is that you're going to get there, and really what is important to you at this stage in your life. Specifically, because it's like Valentine's Day season this time of year, I think a lot of people really are trying to do like a little bit of reflection. Also coming out of like Christmas and New Year's, a lot of people tend to do a lot of inner reflection about their life and the and what they want to change, what they want to keep, and what they're really doing with their life. So I feel like you're in that stage right now where you're kind of secluding yourself and you're playing your distance a little bit from people that you wouldn't normally play your distance from. Some of you might be kind of like eliminating people from your life, period, right? The people that you feel like they don't necessarily see your vision, or they don't see where you're going, or they're very critical of you. You might be kind of removing people and kind of doing like cleanup of your social circle, so to speak. I feel like there is a little sense that you really are trying to just figure out, tapping into like your inner wisdom and your inner knowledge and trying to use yourself as a guide, as opposed to functioning in a space where you want to be and do everything for everyone else. I feel like you're trying to kind of fine tune where you expend your time and your energy. And like I said, this might be you just kind of withdrawing, but you might be also taking like a social media break, and just really focusing on the areas of your life that are really important. So focusing on your job and focusing on your home life. If you have children or a partner, I feel like you're focusing on that. If you're single, I feel like you're focusing also on your job, but also trying to figure out who it is that you want to potentially start a relationship with. In the position of your emotions, the card that's coming here is the Tower card. And so this kind of feels like you're going through, like I said, a massive personal change or transformation in your life. This could be due to something significant that happened, like, a death, losing like your home, losing your job, but something that basically shook up everything that you felt was right in your life, everything that you felt like you could depend on, kind of got ripped out from under you. And so as a result, you're kind of in this place where you're taking stock and really trying to navigate like, okay, well, what is really important to me? What is really important in the grand scheme of things? Because honestly, I don't want to go through what I just went through. That it was a shock to your system. And so this is a reason why you're kind of like falling back. So this card is a card about personal transformation and really trying to realign your life around this incident that might have happened to you that kind of put your life in a tailspin. For some of you, there's an indication that you feel like something is going to happen, and that's the reason why you are kind of falling back, because I think intuitively you sense something major is coming, and so as a result, you've made the decision to kind of like fall back. The clarification cards, by the way, I'm using the Grand Tableau Lenormand Oracle cards to do clarifiers for cards that came out in the reversal, just to get like a deeper understanding of the reversal. And the cards that came out for you to clarify the Tower is the Key, the Whip, and the Bouquet. Okay, so a couple of things. The combination of these three cards is saying something here about opening yourself up to being criticized, right? I feel like whatever the situation is in terms of you making a decision to kind of like fall back is due to the fact that someone may have done something for you. And I feel like them doing that for you also allowed them to look at you in a way where you felt like they were treating you as less than. Like this situation kind of opened you up, which is the key, opened you up to being criticized. You might have been having a little bit, some arguments as a result of, whatever that the other person did for you. You and that person started arguing, and they felt like you were taking advantage of their niceness, or they felt like you were exploiting them. And so you are kind of like in a space where you feel like, okay, you know what, let me take a step back because I think you kind of don't want to be viewed in that way, or you don't want to be looked at as though you're trying to take advantage of someone for the kindness that they gave to you. I think the situation made you feel a little bit restricted. And so now I feel like you're in the space where you want to be a little bit more social, and you want to step out and be like your social self again. But I don't think that you felt like you could do it where you were. So in essence, it's like you're adopting this, like this idea in your head that you're going to go where you're celebrated and not where you're tolerated. And I feel like that's what the tower in reverse is here for, because you're moving away from that situation because it was opening you up to too much things. You kind of felt like you were being critiqued and criticized, and it was starting to create some issues. You might not have even been in a space where you were like constantly arguing and fighting, but I felt like even if someone was coming at you, you didn't necessarily verbalize that you felt some kind of way about it. You might have been keeping it to yourself, but it was causing a lot of internal issues with you, and it was actually making you kind of feel bad about yourself. And so you were kind of over that, right? And you want to move away from that. And like I said, go where you're celebrated and not where you're tolerated. Your beliefs is being indicated here by the Page of Wands, which is basically like a fresh new start, right? I feel like you're in the space now after you've made this transition, and you're really kind of really doing some self-evaluation. I feel like you believe that you have endless possibilities. There are endless opportunities available to you. You can have a fresh new start. You can really start to live the life that you envision for yourself. There's a sense that if you were withdrawn before, like I said, with the Hermit card, you're on that verge where you're going to be stepping out of that hermit mode and really just kind of excited about beginning this new journey that is you, right? Kind of exploring different avenues in your life. You might want to be out here looking for like a new job or different ways to make money, exploring your passions. I feel like you're going to be really kind of just having like a type of exploration in a new sort of journey. Coming out of this, tower in reverse moment that's happened to you, just like feeling fresh and new and feeling like you can do anything right now. At the center of what's going on, and also the signifier card for this reading is the King of Swords in reverse. And the King of Swords in reverse can really indicate indecisiveness about what you want to do, what opportunities are available to you, what direction you want to go in. It is also an indication of a lack of clarity about your situation and what you need to do to make your situation work. In the upright, this is a very rational person who is a very direct leader. But in the reverse, you're using your intellect against the people that are around you. And this could be you, or it could be someone that's in your sphere, or this is the energy that's kind of surrounding you. Someone around you has this type of energy. It's also a card of kind of like being scattered mentally, being panicky, But it's also a sign of someone who can be a little bit manipulative, using their intellect to manipulate people into doing and being what they want them to be. Air signs are usually attached to the swords in the tarot. So this individual could be an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. Let's look at the clarifiers for this card. Okay, so the clarifiers that came out for the King of Swords in reverse is the Ring card, the Mouse card, the Sun card, and the Fox card. So this is interesting. The Ring card is a symbol for commitments, legal obligations. So of course that could be marriage. This could be purchasing a home. This could be a will. This could be, I don't know, a work contract or whatever, but it's a legally binding situation. And so it looks like there's a discrepancy between the people that have entered into this legal contract. One of these individuals, it could be more than two, but one of these individuals, at least one of these individuals, is definitely entering into this contract with not the best of faith. And so there's a little bit of a suspicion about their commitment or their promise in the situation, if they're going to actually honor their contract, honor the promises that they made, or if they made this commitment or sign this contract based on their own self-interest. And that's what the fox is being represented here by. And then there's another person in this commitment who is going into the commitment with good faith and wanting it to work and feeling like they want to, that this situation is going to bring them happiness. They're committing to it because they truly want to be happy. But the mouse here is signifying that there is some deterioration. So there's like a sense that initially this contract might have been made with good intentions, but due to deterioration of the relationship itself, there's a question as to whether or not this contract is going to be honored. And so you know who you are in this situation, in this equation. Are you the King of Swords in reverse, or are you surrounded by someone that's acting as the king in reverse? So if you have good intentions, I feel like you need to possibly take a look at the other people involved in this contract situation to determine whether or not they intend to honor the contract that they've made with you, and the commitment that they've made with you. Like I said, for some of you, it could be a spouse, it could be a partner, but the ring is definitely signifying a contract situation. There is a little bit of ego attached here with the King of Swords. Like, this person is extremely egotistical. They feel like they're the smartest person in the room, and if it's not you, they feel like they're definitely smarter than you. That's something to be mindful of. This card that came out for the subconscious, which will eventually become, obvious, it will come out eventually, is being represented here by the King of Cups in the reverse. So we have a lot of masculine energy. The entire right hand side of the board is really talking about masculine energy. The Tower is considered to be a masculine card. The King of Cups is a masculine energy. The King of Swords is a masculine presenting energy as well. So for some of you, this could be a male figure in this dynamic, or it could just be someone who has a lot of masculine energy. So the King of Cups in reverse is really talking about someone who might be a little bit unpredictable as a representation of a person. It could be someone that is a little bit unpredictable. They can be moody. They can be depressed. They can really have a lot of emotional things going on in their mind, and they're easily triggered and really give emotional responses when they're triggered. They can also be someone who is a little bit vindictive, and also likes to be emotionally manipulative. So there's a lot of manipulation going on in here. These could be two different people. It could also be the same person, right? They also like to use a lot of emotional blackmail to get their way. So ultimately, there is a sort of self-serving interest here. With this person, where whatever they're doing in this equation, they're doing it for themselves, right? Their motivation is really for themselves. And so there really is a sense of not really knowing if you can really trust them, because they move kind of shady. They move kind of funny, and they might flip out on you, but they're not really flipping out on you because they're flipping out on you. They're flipping out on you because they don't want you to even question what it is that they're doing, right? Because it's like really there's a manipulative game happening here. And again, this could be you. It could also be someone else that you're closely tied to. The King of Cups is also someone who is emotionally repressed, right? With the Hermit card here, those two cards, the King of Cups in reverse and the Hermit card, is really talking about someone that is kind of withdrawing from the outside world because they really don't know how to confront their feelings. They don't know how to deal with their feelings. They're really keeping everything bottled up inside. And so they run the risk of having like an emotional tantrum or an emotional outburst because they don't know how to navigate their feelings. And with the Page of Wands here, this is really like, I don't want to say immature, but like, yeah, an immature type energy. So it could be someone who's young that's doing this, or just has a really like, they're just not as an adult as they should be. And so they're navigating from a place of not being able to really express the way that they feel, or express the reasons why they're doing these things. They just really are focused on making sure that they are okay at all times, even if that comes at the expense of someone else, right? And so if this is you, it is really suggested that you talk to someone or seek a counselor who can really help you navigate your emotional issues, or the reason why you are feeling, sad and depressed and withdrawing from the outside world, and what it is that you really fear. You have to kind of confront your inner feelings, your inner emotions. And that could be why the Hermit card is showing up as a sign that you really need to do some soul searching and really try to figure out who you are as a person, so that you're not, spending your life hurting the people that care about you the most, or pushing people away from you that care about you, or damaging relationships that you might not be able to repair. The clarification for the King of Cups is the Ship card and the Key card. And so, okay, so there are a couple of things. This individual, like, this is a part of the subconscious now. So this is a subconscious that is going to eventually come to light. So you will find that this particular person is going to do a lot of exploration, right? The Ship card is talking about a journey, traveling. And while that could physically mean that this person wants to travel, it could also mean that they want to get some distance from you, from whatever situation it is that you guys exited out of. That might have been the motivation to entering into the commitment that they probably don't really want to honor anyway, is they want to put some distance between them and something else, right? So there's that. There is an idea, like I said, that they are trying to tap into who they are as a person and try to discover who they are, because that is still unknown to them. There's that. But the Key card showing up here actually links it back to the King of Swords, which makes me really feel like this person is the same person. And so this seems like an opportunistic reason and motivation for them to kind of do what they're doing in terms of entering into the contracts that they've entered into, it's an opportunity for them. It's an opportunity to increase themselves. It's an opportunity to allow them to travel or to get away from the situation that they were in. It's an opportunity. And so, I mean, this doesn't sound too great. Just be mindful that there are angel numbers here on the board with the clarification cards for 333. And so some of you might be seeing 333 a lot. But whatever is hidden always comes to the light. And I feel like eventually, if this is not you, and this is the person that you're dealing with, or the person that you're doing business with, their motivations will become clear. It will become clear to you. If this is you, understand that everything that is done in the dark will come to the light, and it will show and it will reveal. So just be mindful of all of that. In the position of the hopes, the fears, the dreams is the Four of Wands. And so there is this idea that at the core of this is the fear of instability, right? Of not having a stable situation, a stable relationship, a stable place to stay, someplace to live. This card could also mean that one of the things that you are proud of is that you're celebrating something, right? You're celebrating something major, like a major event in your life, right? But you don't necessarily want to share this accomplishment with anyone. It's like a personal celebration. It's a personal victory for you. So this could also mean that you purchased a home, but you're not necessarily bragging about it, or you're not necessarily telling anyone about it. You're just feeling happy to yourself that you were able to accomplish this goal, and accomplish this, and kind of touch on something that's like a major milestone. So some of you might be getting married in secret and not telling anyone about it. Some of you may be pregnant and not telling anybody about it. Just kind of like celebrating to yourself, before you decide that you want to kind of reveal it to anyone else, right? This can also be an indication that you had a lot of doubts in the past about your ability to accomplish certain things. And so this move that you're making, or the things that are happening around you right now, is just really satisfying for you, because it makes you feel like you have a sense of stability and a sense of balance within yourself. There is also like an opposite side to this card, which is really talking about the breakdown of communication within a household, within family members, between family members and loved ones, and getting caught up in arguments and disputes. I feel like that came up earlier in terms of arguments and disputes happening. And so that might also be a factor that's showing up, where it's also a breakdown in communication. And so communication is going to be really important, so that everyone kind of understands where they stand, their expectations for the relationship or the dynamic, whatever that might be, what's expected. Communicating what you expect is a way to avoid unnecessary arguments and unnecessary drama and breakdowns, because everyone understands what it is that they're committed to and what it is that they're in for. So be mindful of that. The Four of Wands in reverse is also, in the upright, it's talking about stability, right? So in the reverse, that's an indication of instability. And so you might be going through a period of a little bit of a change and upheaval. Like I said, you could be moving, you could be, breaking up, you could be getting a divorce, you could be changing jobs, moving a house, leaving a relationship, those type of things. So that could kind of be what you're going through. And so that is like the temporary situation. And it's kind of leaving you feeling a little bit insecure about what your future might be. But I feel like once you get an understanding, especially if you're doing this journey or you're doing this trip with someone else and there's someone else accompanying you, and I feel like there is, because that commitment card came out with the ring. as long as everyone understands what it is that's expected of them and what it is that you're doing and what the plan is, I feel like you'll be okay. If that is not happening, it's going to be a problem. So just be aware of that. The Four of Wands in reverse is being clarified here by the Clouds card, the Stork, and the Anchor. And so the Stork is really talking about movement and, again, transformation. But with the Clouds card here, it's an indication that there isn't really a clear direction. There's like a real lack of focus, but just more so on the stability. The stability is lacking, the focus is lacking, and so there's a little bit of confusion about the direction that you're going in, particularly in terms of like stability for whatever this plan is going into this month. With the Anchor, it's really, it could be a plus or it could be a minus, but it's a little hazy because the Anchor is really talking about completing a goal or completing a task. And so if you are focused on a goal and focused on the task, there needs to be a clear goal. There needs to be a clear task. Otherwise, you're putting in work and no one's really sure about what the work is for, because there really isn't any clear direction, right? So the focus should also be on flexibility and the ability to change your plans if necessary, because with the Anchor card, it's about safety and creating stability and creating an environment that is supportive of that. But there is, like I said, there's confusion about that. And so even though creating a safety is a good thing, it can also, with the Anchor, mean inflexibility, which is not that great, right? You have to be able to kind of move and shake with the things that change and not hold on to an idea or a concept of something and not allow it to become personal for you, right? This has to kind of work in the context of your life and not just an idea that you're holding on to that you don't want to let go of. So if you are moving and you're trying to make changes and you're trying to navigate into a space of personal transformation, you have to kind of be open to that transformation and open to the change and not be rigid in terms of changing. And the final card that came out is the card for the outcome, which is being symbolized here by the Eight of Wands in the reverse. And the Eight of Wands in reverse is talking about delays, right? It's talking about delayed messages. It's talking about frustration. It's talking about resistance to change. It's talking about internal alignment. So ultimately, we're talking about confusion. And so this is, like I said, this has been kind of playing out throughout the reading and the cards up until this point. So it makes complete sense that this is the card that came out. So it just feels like there's this like idea with these cards is that you're kind of like rushing ahead without a real plan. And really having solid steps that you've laid out to kind of complete the plan that you have. And also understanding too that plans change. And so that in order to kind of navigate those things that might come up, you have to kind of be a little bit more flexible and not resist kind of going with the flow. Some of you, this could mean delays in terms of traveling, or like even with the plans that you have, like you kind of want to just power forward with them. And that's the reason why you really haven't nailed down all the individual steps that could cause delays in your ultimate outcome as well. So you need to really focus on, like the enthusiasm is there, but the plan isn't, and that can lead to frustration on your part because, it just kind of feels like things aren't going as fast as you want. But yeah, you need a plan. You really need a plan. Let's look at the clarification for these cards. The clarification for the Eight of Wands is the Lily card. The Woman is coming up, and then the Crossroads. So this is not for all of you, but it is for some of you. In terms of like the other portion with just like dealing with the planning, that's definitely there. But I think also there is a sense that there's a little bit of a struggle here with fidelity. Okay, because the crossroad card is, making decisions, having multiple avenues open to you, particularly when it comes to this feminine energy. So this is multiple women. And then the lily card is talking about like sexual morality, sexual exploration, and kind of being sexually open to exploring different avenues of sexuality. And so because we had that masculine energy in the reading before, this, like I said, could be a male presenting individual who is going to be open to exploring different sexual relationships or different types of relationships with either one woman or more than one woman. I feel like it's multiple because there's a crossroads, it's more than one road. And so, for some of you, that could be a message that comes into you, like you hear about it, it's going to be presented to you. Others of you, like I said, you are participating in this behavior. And like I said, everything that is done in the dark will eventually come to light. So just be mindful of that. But yeah, that's like, pretty much everything. Thank you for listening. Please comment below and let me know how this is manifesting in your life this month. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for post notifications. Come over and follow me on my socials. And thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.